class 9th. Good morning to all. We are going to start with the lesson number 2, the Vedic period, page number 101. Main objectives, introduction, sources, the Vedic literature, the early Vedic literature and later Vedic literature, and the archaeological sources. For the discussion of topic, we must know the following terms like civilized, brought to an advanced stage of social and cultural development. Subcontinent, part of continent, gets separated from the main continent by natural features. Eurasia, continent Asia and Europe together known as Eurasia. Philosophy, the study of fundamental natures of knowledge, reality and existence, theory of the attitude. Astrology, the study of movements of celestial bodies and the natural world. Omnipotent, it means all present. It means that God is capable of being everywhere. Dynasty, series of rulers from the same family. Epic, it means something that refers to a heroic story like Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Introduction. The Vedic period of the Vedic age is a period of the late Bronze Age and the early Iron Age of the history of India, when the Vedics were composed of the northern Indian subcontinent between the end of the urban Indus Valley civilization. The advent of Aryans means coming of Aryans in India from their occupation of the land is the most interesting and the important event in the history of India. They were highly civilized. Their main occupation was domestication of animals and agriculture. Moreover, large number of Indians, Persians, English, Germans, French, etc. They were considered themselves the descendants of the Aryans, means they were considering that Aryans are their forefathers. Moreover, Aryans spoke Indo-European languages in modified forms all over the Europe, Iran and the greater part of the Indian subcontinent. Aryans were the original natives of the Alps mountain region called Eurasia, Asia and Europe together known as Eurasia. Aryans were nomadic in beginning, means they were not having the settled life. Aryans domesticated many animals. Horse was one of the most important animal in their life. Now let's come to the reading. Lesson number 2, the Vedic period. The advent of Aryans in India and their occupation of this land is the most interesting and important event in the history of India. They were highly civilized. The domestication of animals and agriculture were their main professions. Profession means occupations. They were well versed in warfare. A large number of Indian, Persian, English, German, French, etc. considered themselves the descendants of the Aryans. Coming of Aryans in India is the most interesting event in the history of India. Moreover, Aryans were highly civilized, means they brought an advanced stage of social and cultural development. They were not having their settled life, they were living the nomadic life, and their main occupation was agriculture and rearing of animals. Aryans were considered the forefathers of Indians, Persian, English, German and French. The Aryans spoke the Indo-European language, which are spoken in modified forms all over Europe, Iran and greater part of the Indian subcontinent. Subcontinent means the part of continent which is getting separated from the rest of continent by natural features. The Aryan lived originally in the areas east of Alps mountains in the region called Eurasia. Eurasia, as we have discussed, the part of Asia and Europe together known as Eurasia. The Aryan did not lead a settled life in the beginning. Although the Aryans used the several animals, the horse played the most important role in their life. It means the Aryans used to speak the Indo-European languages, which is a mixture of the India and Europe, which is spoken in a modified form all over the Europe, Iran and the greater part of the Indian subcontinent. Moreover, the Aryans were not having the settled life, they were living the nomadic life. Believed that the Aryans were the original natives of the Alps mountain region. They used many of the animals like buffaloes, bulls and most important animal was the horse. Sources of information. The Vedic literature. Historians have derived the more knowledge from the literary evidence, that is the Vedic literature. The term Vedic literature has a vast scope. The word Veda means knowledge. The Vedic literature can be divided into the two groups on the basis of their age and composition. They are early Vedic literature and later Vedic literature. Vedic literature comprises of the four Vedas, like Rig Veda, the early Vedic literature, Samved, Yajurved, Atharvaved. All the three are the sources of later Vedic literature. The Vedas throw light on the social, political, religious, and economic life of the Aryans. Now let's come to the reading part. Sources of Vedic literature. Historians have derived the more knowledge from the literary evidence that is the Vedic literature than from any other source of the history of Indo-Aryans. The term Vedic literature has a vast scope. The word Veda itself is derived from the root Ved, which means to know. This Veda means the wisdom or knowledge. In other words, the Veda may be called the storehouse of Aryan wisdom. It consists of not only the four Vedas but also the other allied books like the Brahmanas, the Arankyas, the Upanishads, the Sutras, the Vedanganas, the Upavedas, the Darshanas, the Purans, the epics, and the Dharmashastra, etc. The Vedic literature can be divided into two groups on the basis of their age and composition. Number one is the early Vedic literature, and next is later Vedic literature. Now we will discuss one by one. It means the word Veda means wisdom, knowledge, or vision, and it is reversed as the language of the god in human speech. That is Arankyas and Upanishads. The Vedas were passed on from the generation to another orally. They were compiled and written down much later. Hence the Vedas are also known as the Shrutis. The Samhitas contains the hymns of Vedic in verse from the Brahmanas and the prose commentaries in Vedic mantras. The Vedic literature is divided into two parts, that is the early Vedic literature and the later Vedic literature. Now we will discuss the early Vedic literature. Early Vedic literature, the Rig Veda. It is oldest Veda and therefore known as the first testament of mankind. Historians placed its period of composition as early as 1500 BCE. It is divided into 10 mandalas. Mandalas means lessons, chapters. It has been 1028 mantras representing various aspects of nature. They were passed on orally from teachers to disciples, from teachers to students. It contains the Gayatri Mantra. Much of the Indian philosophy is based on Rig Veda. It means Rig Veda is the oldest religious text in the world and therefore it is known as the first testament of mankind. It is divided into the 10 mandalas and it is said to have composed during the early Vedic period. The hymns dedicated to the sages of gods. The Rig Vedic hymns are the source of knowledge of the life of people of time. Much of the Indian philosophy is based on Rig Veda. Look at the picture of Rig Veda. Later Vedic literature. The Samved. The word Sam means the sweet songs. Its hymns are meant for the priest who used to sing them while performing the yajnas. It contains 1875 hymns. It means the term Sam means the sweet songs or the melody. In this Veda, some of the hymns are borrowed from Rig Veda. These hymns are meant to be sung at the time of sacrifice by the priests. The Yajurved. It contains chiefly the hymns that describes the rituals to be observed while performing yajnas or sacrifices. It contains 2086 hymns. It means the Yajurved deals with the hymns recited during the performance of yajna. There are hymns in the Vedas throw light on the social and religious life of the Aryans. Atharvaved. It has hymns dealing with the charms and the spells for subduing evil spirits and controlling diseases. The hymns contained in the Atharvaved deal with the magic and charms. Most of the hymns are taken from Rig Veda. Some hymns deals with the medicines for the treatment of various diseases. The Vedas throw much light on the social, political, religious and economic life of the Aryans. Their parts are as below. The Brahmanas. These are commentaries on the Vedic hymns, rendered in simple prose. Such of the passages refers to the contemporary social and political condition of the country as well. It means the Brahmanas explain the social and religious importance of the ritual as well as the values of the sacrifice. The Arankyas, they are the part of the Brahmanas and were written in the guidance of the hermits. Hermits means saints who lived in the forest so that they could easily understand the Vedic wisdom. They deal beautifully with the mysteries of the life and philosophy without any references of rituals and sacrifice. It means Arankyas were known as the forest books written for the guidance of hermits. Hermits means saints and the students living in the forest. They form an concluding part of the Brahmanas. The main feature are the mysticism and philosophy. The Upanishads, they are source of the Indian philosophy. They are endeavored to explain the numerous mysteries of the life, to know about the relationship between the soul and the creator, and the elucidate the theories of karma, maya, and the mukti, etc. The Upanishads have attracted the European scholars as well as these books are so popular that they had been translated into the several languages of the world such as Persian, English, and French, etc. There are about 300 Upanishads, of which the most famous are known as the Chandogya, the Brihadrankya, the Aitareya, and the Taittiriya, etc. They are great historical importance because they contain the valuable information about the social and religious conditions of the Aryan. Means the Upanishads are philosophical commentaries on the Vedas. The doctrines such as the karma, moksha, and maya are explained in detail. The Upanishads from the basic source of the Indian philosophy, composed by different sages, they are said to form the foundation on which the later additions to Vedic literature rest. Next is the sutras. As the time passed, the new customs were born. Instead of editing them, the existing books, they were compiled separately. They were sutras can be divided into the three groups. The Shruta Sutras, they deal with the religious ideas of the Arankyas, their yajnas or sacrifices. The Graha Sutras, they deal with the various ceremonies or the sanskars of the family men born from the birth to death. The Dharma Sutras, they deal both with the social customs and the civil criminal laws. It means sutras were also the source of literary informations which were divided into three parts, the, the Shruta Sutras, the Graha Sutras, and the Dharma Sutras. The Sutra, which deals with the yajna and sacrifice, the Graha Sutra deals with the ceremonies connected with the family life, and the Dharma Sutra, which provide the rules of conduct for the various classes of the people and various stages in their life. The Vedanganas and Upvedas. The Vedanganas, as the name suggests, are the part of the Vedic literature which deals with the subject like the grammar, education, astrology, etc. Beside, there are the several Upvedas which deals with the subject like medicines, warfare, music, achievements, etc. It means Vedanganas and Upvedas deal with the ways in which the Vedas ought to be chanted and are thus important in understanding of the Vedas. Six Darshanas or the school of Indian philosophy. Six rishis of the Hindus try to explain the philosophy dealt in Upanishads, which had been divided into the six distinctive groups. These are called the Darshanas. Shankya Shastra of Kapila. Kapila denies the existence of God. In this Shastra, he says that Prakriti or matter and soul are the only realities which combine the creation of universe. In this Shastra, Kapila denies the existence of God and he believes in the realities which combine the creation of universe, that is the matter of soul. Yoga Shastra or of Patanjali. Patanjali believes that existence of God, believes the souls and matters. He preaches yoga as a means of realize God or Brahmanas of the Supreme Being. It means Yoga Shastra believes in the God and he says that God besides the soul and matters. He prescribes yoga as a means to realize God. Nyaya Shastra of Gautam. Gautam holds that God can realize only by thinking and right knowledge. This Rishi Gautam is different from Gautam, the Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. In this Shastra, that is Nyaya Shastra, God can be believed through the right knowledge. Vaisheshik Shastra of Kannada. Kannada maintained the whole universe is made up of the atom which are not destructible. To Vaisheshik Shastra, the whole universe is made up of atom which is not to be destructible. The Purva Mimamsa of Jaimini, it treats elaborately the rites concerned with the religious sacrifices of the Aryan, which is essential for the attainment of salvation or mukti. They believed in the sacrifices for moksha. Uttra Mimamsa of Vyasa, it says that the nature or prakriti is non-existent, only God Brahma is supreme and omnipresent and omnipotent, therefore he alone should be worshipped. According to Uttra Mimamsas, the supreme God is God Brahma and he is present everywhere, only he should be worshipped. Literary sources, the Purans. The Purans too are essentially part of the Vedic literature. They are 18 in numbers and each has 5 sections. From his historical point of view, only the 5th section has an importance of its own and it contains the information about the kings and their dynasties. Dynasties means the series of rulers from same family. Quran is also the very important literary source of information which is divided into the 18 parts. Only the 5th section is important which tells about the information about kings and their dynasties. The great epics, the two great epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, describe the lives and the exploits the great heroes of the Aryans. These epics have the great historical significance as they provide the sufficient information about the social, religious, economic and political life of the later Aryans. They reveal the high ideals of the family life of the Aryans. The great heroes depicted in the epics are embodied of the high moral principles. The Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata, explains the philosophy of karma and immortality of the soul as well as the devotion of the Almighty. Ramayana and Mahabharata. These are the two great epics which are the great source of literary information of later Aryans. Moreover, the Bhagavad Gita, which is a part of Mahabharata, which explains the philosophy of karma and immortality of soul, is a great source of information. The Dharma Shastra, our knowledge of the laws and judicial system of the Aryans, has been derived chiefly from the Dharma Shastras. Manu Samriti, the Yajna Valkya Samriti, the Vishnu Samriti, and the Narad Samriti, etc. But all these Samritis, the most significant is the Manu Samriti. It contains the code of Hindu law and the duties of the each Varna of the caste. It divides the 100 years span of man's life into the 4 ashrams of 25 each. In the first stage, called the Brahmacharya ashram, a man stays in the teacher's home and receives the education. In the second stage, the Grihastha ashram, he gets married, begets children and earns his livelihood to support his family. In the third stage, he leaves homes to live in the forest where he spends his years in devotion to God and prayers, etc. The third stage is called the Vanprasth ashram. In the last stage, called the Sannyas ashram, a man dedicates himself to the service of people and preaching of the religious ideals. The law books and the Samritis together with their commentaries are called Dharma Shastra. They lay down the duties for the different classes of the people as well as for the kings and their officials. Manu Samriti gives the description of Hindu code of law including the Varnas, means caste system, and the ashrams, which were divided into the 4 stages. First stage is the Brahmacharya, second stage is the Grihastha ashram, third stage is the Vanprasth, and fourth one is the Sannyas ashram. The archaeological sources. The discovery of iron implements such as the hammers, the arrowheads, the spearheads, saz, etc., belonging to the later Vedic period, which indicates the people had begun using the iron during the period. With the help of iron implements, later Vedic people were able to clean forest and brought the land under the cultivation. Moreover, the pottery form an important source of information. The grewware and the painted grewware pottery was discovered at different sites like Punjab, Haryana, Bhagwanpura, etc. These spots paint for the fact that later Vedic people were well versed with the great techniques. Now let's come to the reading. The archaeological sources. The discovery of iron implements such as the hammer, arrowhead, spearhead, saws, etc., belonging to the later Vedic phase, implies the indicates that the people had begun using iron during the period. With the help of the iron implements, later Vedic people were able to clean forest and bring more land under the cultivation. Agriculture became an important occupation and people grew many varieties of the crops. Iron sickles, plough driven by the oxen, whose were used to get more yield. Yield means production. It means the discovery of iron make an important stage in march of the civilization in the world. Discovery of iron gave the Aryans the new implements like the axes to clear the forest and cultivate the land. Thus the agriculture became their important occupation. With the use of iron plough, heads, sickles and hoes, they could bring the vast tract of the land under cultivation. The evidences of the use of the painted gravures pottery is available from the excavated sites such as the Hastinapur, Alamgir, Mathura, Swasti and the Kushumbi. PGW is the very fine smooth pottery consisting of the open mouth balls and dishes. It was made from the high quality clay with various geometrical patterns printed on it in a black or deep chocolate brown. These pots point to the fact that the later Vedic people were well versed with the sophisticated firing techniques. It means pottery form an important source of information. The gravure and the painted gravure pottery discovered at different sites in Punjab, Haryana and other parts of the India. The PGW means painted gravure is a very fine, smooth and even colored pottery. It was made out of the well worked high quality clay with geometrical patterns printed on it. They were the great archaeological source of information of the Aryan period. Today we will do till here and you will have to learn the basic term and reread this part and kindly follow the snap homework. Thank you.